Coming up!
Teenagers hate sitting opposite you at a table while you interrogate them about their revision. Energy drinks, sugary snacks, highly processed convenience food. Sleep is the save button for the brain. When we learn something new, it sits in a temporary holding area. It's fragile. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mr. M's PTA. I am Mr. M, and if you have a teenager at home right now, you've probably already noticed the shift in atmosphere. But before we carry on with that, I just want to explain a few things. One, I am really trying to get the audio podcasts up and running once every week. It's proving very difficult because there's lots of other things going on. For example, the video podcasts over on my YouTube channel, Mr. M's PTA. If you've not checked it out, please do. They are proving a bit of a nightmare. The filming of it is difficult. The editing of it is difficult. Every other week I'm uploading a long one, 10 to 15 minutes. And then every other week I am uploading shorts from that long one. So yeah, if you could check them out, that would be really helpful because it's driving me slightly mad. Anyway, we're back to just audio editing now. Again, that's easier because I just need to edit out all of the awkward bits. So without further ado, here we go. The exam fog is starting to descend. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that heavy, anxious energy that seems to settle over the house around this time of year. Doors are closing a little more forcefully, tempers are fraying over completely trivial things, like who left the milk out, or why the Wi-Fi is acting up. It's heartbreaking to see our children struggle under the weight of these expectations, and honestly, it's terrifying for us as parents too. We watch them staring blankly at a pile of flashcards or refusing to come out of their room, and we feel this overwhelming urge to fix it. We want to step in and make the stress go away, but we often end up saying the wrong thing and making it worse. Today, we're going to look at the actual science of what is happening in your teenager's brain right now, why they suddenly go blank in the middle of a mock exam, and most importantly, the practical proven steps we can take at home to get them through this season intact. We need to start by acknowledging that this is not just routine character building stress anymore. The landscape of examinations has changed, and the pressure cooker is hotter than it's ever been. Recent data from University College London paints a rather sobering picture. They found that high academic pressure at age 15 can increase the risk of clinical depression by 25% just a year later. A 25% increase. That's not just the statistical anomaly, that's a quarter of our young people being pushed to the point where their mental health fundamentally fractures under the weight of GCSEs. And what about us? What about the parents standing on the sidelines? Well, the statistics show about 56% of us are mirroring our children's debilitating anxiety. We're absorbing their stress. We're losing sleep because they're losing sleep. We're snapping at our partners because our teenagers are snapping at us. We get caught in this feedback loop of panic. But here's the good news. We don't just have to white knuckle it. We do not have to simply cross our fingers, hold our breath, and hope everyone survives until the summer holidays. There is a science to exam stress. And once you understand the science, you can start to dismantle it. Let's talk about the most common complaint I hear as a teacher. Mr. M, I revised for hours, yeah? I knew the material, but the moment I sat down in the hall and turned over the paper, my mind just went completely blank. Hands up if you've heard this. Okay, put your hands down now, especially if you're listening to this while driving. Hold on to that wheel. Your child comes home devastated. They think they're stupid. They think their memory's broken. Neither is true. What they've experienced is a biological hijack. When your teenager walks into that exam hall, if their stress levels are too high, their brain perceives it as a threat. It doesn't matter that the threat is just a piece of paper or asking them to calculate the area of a circle. The brain does not distinguish between a maths exam and a physical predator. The amygdala, the ancient alarm bell part of the brain, floods their system with cortisol and adrenaline. It triggers the fight or flight response. Now, when fight or flight is activated, the brain redirects energy away from non-essential functions to prepare the body to survive. And unfortunately, complex problem solving and memory retrieval are considered non-essential in a survival situation. Knowing your Pythagoras theorem is not going to stop you being eaten by a bear. The prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking, remembering part of the brain, effectively gets put on standby. That's why they blank. They cannot access the information because the filing cabinet has been locked shut by their own survival instincts. So telling a panicked teenager to just think harder or try to remember is biologically pointless. You cannot outthink a cortisol flood. Our job is to help them regulate their nervous system before they even walk through the double doors of the sports hall. How do we do that? We start with the absolute basics. You can't build a complex revision timetable on a foundation of poor sleep and terrible diet. So let's address sleep first. Teenagers are notorious for staying up late until 2 in the morning sometimes, cramming, or not cramming, or saying they're cramming, but actually just on TikTok. They think they're being productive, they're not. Sleep is the save button for the brain. When we learn something new, it sits in a temporary holding area. It's fragile. It's only during the deep stages of sleep that the brain takes that fragile new information and moves it into long-term storage. We've all seen Inside Out, we know how this works. If they don't sleep, they can't save what they've learned. It's as simple as working on a new document for 6 hours and then pulling the plug out of the wall. I mean, not for most of us because we use Google Docs and that saves automatically, but back in the day when you didn't hit save and you lost all that work, that's what it's like. Encourage them to shut the books at a reasonable hour. The extra hour of sleep will do far more for their grade than an extra hour of staring at a textbook with tired eyes. Then there's the fuel. Exam season is a marathon, not a sprint, but we often let our teenagers eat like they're at a child's birthday party. Energy drinks, sugary snacks, highly processed convenience food. This causes rapid spikes in blood glucose, followed by aggressive crashes. When their blood sugar crashes, they lose focus, they get irritable, and their brain fog thickens. We need to feed them complex carbohydrates for stable, sustained blood glucose. Think porridge oats, wholemeal toast, or eggs in the morning. Throw in a handful of blueberries or walnuts. There's excellent research showing that the antioxidants in berries actually improve memory and attention span. It sounds basic, but a solid breakfast is a physiological intervention against anxiety. Now, let's get into the specifics of this year. I want to give you a quick, vital update on the 2026 regulations from Ofqual. That's the Office for Qualifications. If your child is sitting GCSE Maths, Physics, or Combined Science this year, and that will be all of them, they will still be provided with the formula and equation sheets for the exam. This is huge. It removes the burden of rote memorization. Your teenager does not need to spend hours making flashcards to memorize the quadratic formula or the equation for kinetic energy. They're going to be given those tools. What you need to tell them is that the exam boards are testing their ability to apply the formula, not just recite it. Shift their revision away from memory games and towards practice questions. Have them look at the sheet and practice identifying which formula solves which problem. Also, please be aware that some boards are piloting on-screen assessments right now, but it's really nothing to worry about. Ofqual's latest consultation on regulating on-screen assessments, which closes this month, explicitly states that handwriting and traditional pen and paper exams will remain central, and they've placed strict limits on this kind of rollout. Exam boards are only allowed a maximum of 2 new on-screen specifications each. And crucially, high-entry subjects, those with over 100,000 entries, are barred from moving to on-screen assessments for the foreseeable future. The pen and paper era is definitely not going away. Finally, we need to talk about your role as a parent. During exam season, your home needs to become an oasis of calm. The outside world is putting enough pressure on them. They do not need you to add to it. We need to pivot entirely from outcome-focused pressure to process-focused support. What does that mean? It means we stop talking about the grades. Don't say, "Good luck, I'm sure you'll get a grade 9 in science." Say, "I'm so proud of how you're handling this workload." Or, "I saw how hard you focused for that last 45 minutes of your revision session. Well done." Praise the effort, not the hypothetical result. If you have a neurodivergent teen, you'll have to be extra vigilant. For students with ADHD or autism, standalone advice like "just sit and focus" is actively harmful. Remember that supervised rest breaks are often more effective than just granting them extra time at the end of an exam. At home, build those breaks into their schedule. 20 minutes of work, 10 minutes of pacing the garden or listening to music or doing anything other than work. Your most important job is to keep the household routines steady and absorb their emotional fluctuations without reacting defensively. If they snap at you because they're stressed out about French verbs, don't escalate it into an argument about respect. Take a deep breath. Realize it's the cortisol talking and let it go. Be the anchor in their storm. If you succeed in this, tell me how. We'll collaborate, we'll write a book, we'll make millions. If they're struggling to talk to you, try side-by-side communication. Teenagers hate sitting opposite you at a table while you interrogate them about their revision. It feels confrontational. Instead, talk to them while you're walking the dog, or while you're both standing at the sink doing the dishes. Lower the eye contact, lower the stakes, and you'll find they open up much faster. This season is tough, but it's temporary. You will all get through it. Until next time, take care of yourself, check in on your friends, and remember, you can do this. You're awesome. See you next episode. Oh, and while I've got you, go check out my website, www.igniteeducation.co.uk. There's a specific section on GCSE help there. There are exam posters, revision tips, there's English literature and language practice papers, there's a Shakespeare question generator for any exam board, any text. Plus, if there's something missing that you think would be really helpful, let me know. Also, check out Mr. M's PTA on TikTok. I post lots of advice there as well. And again, check out the YouTube channel, that'd be really helpful. Anything else? Oh, you can buy me a coffee. There are links, probably where you got this episode, actually. Somebody already did. Thank you very much, random person. Yes, because I do enjoy this, and I hope I'll be able to do it even more. Right, that's me. I've recorded this now. I've got to go and edit it. I hate editing. See you next week, folks.